Hey guys, Scott here. Today I want to talk about why Killer has felt so bad, at least to me personally, these past couple of weeks. I've already touched up on one of the main points, which is the new palette changes, which are just adding a bunch of fillers to the maps everywhere, and it is just making a lot of Killers significantly worse than they used to be. And despite the fact that they are individually outplayable, a lot of people are really not understanding, at least what I've seen in the comments, that if you have a 50-50 palette, it being by itself makes it a 50-50, but if it's a 50-50 connected to a window or three other tiles, it's no longer a 50-50. It's very heavily in the survivor's favor. So that is something a lot of people in my comments seem to not be understanding because they don't know how to like chain tiles together or something like that. There's also a huge issue with that as well I didn't go over in the video, which is by adding a bunch of tiles to the outskirts of maps, you kind of negate the risk of hiding in the outskirts of the maps, which is an extremely viable thing that you see even in competitive play, by the way. You will see people just kind of like, very quietly walking on the outskirts of the map because typically killers in comp are so good that if they're found and they're playing a strong killer, they're going to go down really fast. So simply hiding is one of the best things you can do, but it's also very high risk because if you do choose to hide in an area like that, it's way more out of the way for the killer, but also if the killer finds you, you don't really have anything to work with. So that's the trade-off there. It's more of a pain in the ass for the killer to look for you, but if he does find you, then it's going to be way worse for you. So that's been the standard risk-rewards trade-off in terms of outskirt pallets and loops and things like that. So now that there are pallets everywhere involving these scenarios, they're not really super high risk anymore. Now, to be fair, they're not very good pallets, but you still have the option now of a stun or something like that, which just, again, it's just a whole bunch of just dwindling the skill cap and smart decision making and things like that that we've seen over the years. It's just more of that, and I hate seeing that. But that is not really the main thing. Like I said, I've mostly talked about that stuff already. I think the real main thing that is making me dislike Killer is this. Guarantee, you know what I mean? Oh, good, RPD. Die. Fuck. Well, epic blight map. Hey, look at that. One of the things on the fucking list of shit. That's an exception because they're animals. Oh my god, Toba, we haven't been here in one game. Oh, good. The perfect map. So next squad. Like every team I've gone against the past hour has been a 4-man, so wouldn't be surprised. You guys might have noticed, but the maps you're getting as Killer have been terrible. And that's because there's a system in DBD where certain maps are like boosted. You're more likely to get maps during any given time period. And right now, it's like they literally made the greatest hits of the worst maps in Dead by Daylight, and all of them are the boosted maps. They literally could not have picked worse maps. I don't mind Dead Dog Saloon. Dead Dog Saloon, I think, is an okay map if you stay away from the main building. And Haddonfield now is actually surprisingly balanced because it no longer has a complete dead zone in the middle. So that one's kind of okay as well. Every other map here I find miserable to play on as Killer. Every single indoor map is boosted, which means if you play Killers that have fun powers at all, you probably just can't use them for most of the time playing DBD now. I don't know why you would boost every indoor map at the same time. They must know that the community overall dislikes indoor maps more than they like them. And even if you're playing like a stealth-based killer, it still ends up like you just get tired of the play style. I do understand that some people like indoor maps. That's fine. I'm not saying you're not allowed to like them. I'm just saying most killers in DBD do not function on indoor maps like at all. And that is the most frustrating part because unless you're playing like Ghostface, Wraith, or Myers, or like someone that's going to be able to abuse that stealth. Indoor maps are basically just like, hey, you don't get to use your power. Isn't that fun? And it's just miserable. So every time I get like a Hawkins or a Larry's and I'm playing any killer that I enjoy playing, I'm having a bad time. Even if I win, I don't care. I'm just miserable because I'm just M1ing people like the entire game. And all of these maps are significantly boosted. We also have a bunch of other expert gems like Toba and Bad and Preschool, the worst realm in the entire game for Killer. There are so many shitty maps that are currently boosted right now that I think this is having more of an effect on me than anything. Granted, I've been playing a lot of Myers, who was absolutely terrible. I've been doing viewer builds and stuff like that and people memeing, so those result in not so strong things. But even when I do get like someone saying, hey, play Blight, I play Blight, and then I just get Hawkins and I can't use my power. So I'm just like, okay, cool. It's just a really, really nasty combination of the palette changes on top of that. But the whole map boosting system, I think, is the most obnoxious thing on the planet. it wouldn't be so bad if there was like one boosted map. And this is how they used to do it. That's the problem. Whenever there would be a new map in the game, they would boost it. So you're more likely to see the new map. Makes sense. They made a new product. They want you to be able to see it and play on it. Makes perfect sense. So that's completely fine. Then they sort of did away with that feature. They introduced a new queue for a new map, starting with Five Nights at Freddy's. Except they didn't do that. They did it only for that because, to be fair, it's a smart decision to onboard new players by playing on a map that they can go and see, you know, the pizzeria and stuff like that. And they go, oh my God, they can just soy jack at the screen the whole time. I get it. Business-wise, that's a smart decision. But I don't know why they bullshitted us and pretended like it's going to be some feature that everyone uses now, and they're going to do it on every release. They said that on record. They're like, every time there's a new killer or a new map, stuff like that, we're going to make sure you have a new queue for that, but they haven't done it since. So it was clearly just to onboard Five Nights at Freddy's fans into DBD thing, and that's it. I don't know why they lied about it and pretend they were doing something else, but the whole point is the original system used to be when a new map came out, it would be boosted, and that was fine. But it was like one map that would be boosted. Now we have this weird like rotation thing where they spend hours doing research, contacting top Harvard scientists to concoct the worst possible list of maps in the game, and then they just force you to go on it the majority of the time. I'm not saying it's every single game that you get these maps, but you can see that they are boosted. You are basically twice as likely to get them as other maps in the game right now. And again, I'm not super opposed to this in theory. I just need them to pick maps that are not terrible. Unfortunately, the list is growing smaller and smaller now because it used to be like, hey, give me a good McMillan map, a good Autohaven map, a good Coldwind Farms map. The classics, they're all pretty balanced. Some are a little stronger, some a little weaker, but they're all pretty balanced. Now, not so much. Now I get Colt Tower and I'm like, ooh, I can't wait for this actually great competitive match. Now I'm like, fuck, I'm going to lose. So I think doing the whole map rotation thing, especially when they don't know what constitutes a good map, is a huge problem. And that's been the main cause of my frustrations, honestly, these past couple of weeks. Again, a lot of it has been trying to make Myers not dog shit, and that's been a futile struggle. But a lot of it really comes down to almost every killer I play, and frankly, most of the killers in DBD do not work on indoor maps, and the non-indoor maps we got are things like Nostromo and Toba, which have the worst collisions known to mankind, so you can't even use powers like that on those maps, and then Badham Preschool, which is just the worst map in the game for killers. So it's just like, there's just shit, or shit. You want shit, diarrhea, or piss. That's like basically your options now. And I really think that is the main reason I am so frustrated playing DBD lately. And the sad part is, it's not even like if I go to play Survivor, I'm going to have a better time. Because I don't want to play on Larry's on Survivor either. They're just shitty maps. Like, no one should have to play on it. I'll play on Badham Preschool because that map's free. But for the most part, there are so many maps in the game that are just annoying for both sides. Like, Nostromo is another one of those examples where nobody's happy. The map is fucking huge from side to side, but the collision is really bad. The loops are kind of unsafe, so the killers are unhappy because their power's not working with the collisions, but there's a bunch of chained together tiles, so you can really only M1 people, but the tiles themselves aren't super safe, so the survivors aren't really happy. So it's just no one's happy. It's just everyone's just sad on these maps. And I understand that these are all subjective opinions and stuff like that, but really it's killing my drive to play DBD lately. And once I saw that it was because these maps are so boosted, I was like, oh, that's why I've been having such a miserable time. So I'm curious to hear if you guys are having the same experience as me. It really comes down to maps mostly. It's driving me nuts. But that's a small rant, nothing of value or educational data here. I just wanted to rant about how frustrating it's been the past couple weeks. But that's it. See you next time.